Hi everyone, welcome to another Wives Tribe video. Today I'm going to be talking about emotional unavailability. Again, I'm not an expert. I am just a person who is married, and these are just the lessons that I've picked up along the way. We've been married almost 9 years. So it's hard to feel close to a person when they don't share their feelings with you. Sometimes it's an ongoing problem. Sometimes it's a temporary cycle that you get into. But today we're going to talk about some of the signs of emotional unavailability so you can determine if your partner is emotionally unavailable to you, and then some of the tricks to break out of that cycle and help your spouse open up a little bit emotionally so you can feel a little bit closer to them. Okay, so signs your partner is emotionally unavailable. They don't get excited with you. So let's say you're super excited for a vacation you guys have coming up or something that your kid did that you're proud of. He or she might just not show that same excitement with you. It's almost like they don't want to be vulnerable, right? They don't want to show any of their emotions. So then if you want to talk about a marriage problem that you're having or something that you need in your marriage, it may be really hard for them to have that conversation. Some emotionally unavailable people will make jokes out of everything, so you can't actually accomplish anything with a serious conversation, and others will change the subject, or they may turn it on you and act like you're needy and sensitive because they're just not willing to have those conversations. So basically, your partner just doesn't want to talk feelings with you, doesn't want to show feelings, like kind of locks them up inside. My husband, he has a really hard time getting vulnerable, being open with his feelings. It's very rare that he will cry or show any kind of like jealousy or disappointment. But here are some tips that will probably help your spouse feel more comfortable. Number one is creating a safe space for your partner. This is huge. We talk about this all the time. So give yourself a set amount of time that you're going to try to do this. I recommend 7 days to start. You might go a little shorter if it's hard for you. I tend to nag. I tend to push. For example, let's say my husband's like, today at work, this other doctor was all annoyed with me because of this, because I didn't write the note right or something. This is just an example that I'm making up. And I'll say something stupid like, well, like, did you write the note right? Are they maybe correct? But I think back to our dating and the way I responded to him when he shared things with me. And I think, wow, he shared so much more with me then. And that's because I was a safe space. So when we were dating, when he'd tell me something, I would say, oh, that's so cool. Or I would take his side, like, yeah, they were totally in the wrong. Why would they say that? Like, you were right. Things like that. And so if you think about how you used to respond to your spouse when they were more open with you, because I'm sure at a time they were, or else you probably wouldn't be married. Think about the way the cycle was then and try to kind of reintroduce that. My kids are so loud, I came outside. So just for a few days, try to avoid the nagging if possible. Try not to push them into sharing. Try not to bring up the old fights that we're still working through. And whenever they want to open up and share anything at all, even if it's like, today was a long day, you say, I'm so sorry, yeah. You did have a long day. You started at like 6 a.m. and I bet you're worn out. And if they don't want to share anymore, then that's okay. Just leave it be. Once they share something, that might not be it. That might be it. That might be all they share, something super small. And you just, every single time they share anything, you're their cheerleader, right? So I've done this a few times with my husband. Whenever I'm feeling like we're just really not communicating, he's really closed off. Once I start becoming that safe place every time consistently, it takes a few days sometimes, but not even 7 usually. Like a couple days, I start to notice a difference where he's telling me more. We feel closer. We're getting along better. And that can take time. If you've had a bad dynamic for a long time, it can take more time. It can take a few weeks of consistently doing your best. And if that's just not enough, or if it feels impossible right now to be that safe place to land, then my next recommendation would 100% be couples counseling. Once you get into that really, really tough place where you're just stuck and no one's kind of yielding, you kind of need someone to just help you get out of that stuck place. A couple other things you can do besides the safe space challenge. You can ask loved ones who know your spouse really well, because they may know how to access them a little bit better. Another thing you can do is there are also tons of other resources available. Like we have a workbook. It's called the 66-Day Marriage Transformation, and it just has really easy challenges you can do every day to feel a little bit closer to your spouse. And that really is the ongoing work of marriage, because it is so easy to grow apart. You have to continuously put in that effort. So wivestrive.com, we've got stories from real women about real marriages. Hope some of this advice helps get you guys on the right track, or at least trigger something in your mind that can help you feel more content in your marriage, help you create a happily ever after.